Your phone is missing something that's been there for over 100 years. Tech companies said it was progress. They said it was about making phones thinner, better, faster. But there's a problem with their story, and it involves billions of dollars you probably didn't notice spending. What if I told you the real reason had nothing to do with innovation? Before smartphones existed, there was a simple metal jack. In the 1800s, telephone operators used it to connect calls. By the 1950s, it shrunk down to fit transistor radios. Then it did something remarkable. It survived. It outlasted cassette tapes, CDs, MP3 players, and everything in between. Why? Because it was cheap, reliable, and it just worked. Any headphones worked with any device. No exceptions. No exclusions. But in 2016, that changed forever. And here's where the story gets interesting. September 2016. Apple announced the iPhone 7. For the first time, a major smartphone removed the headphone jack completely. On stage, executives used one specific word to describe their decision: courage. They showed charts about engineering challenges. Phones needed more space for bigger batteries and better cameras. The headphone jack was described as empty metal taking up real estate. It made sense. It sounded legitimate. Samsung still had the jack on their phones. But Apple seemed confident. The media debated it. Users complained. Nobody realized what was about to happen next, because the real genius launched the same day. Here's the problem with Apple's story. It wasn't completely true. Samsung released phones that were just as thin. They had better cameras. They were water-resistant. And they still had the headphone jack at the bottom. If space was really the issue, why could Samsung do it? Engineers at other companies proved it was possible. The jack takes up about 9 millimeters of depth, barely noticeable. The real space issue? That's a convenient excuse. Water resistance wasn't the real problem either. Companies had figured that out years before. So if engineering wasn't the reason, what was? The answer arrived on the exact same day as the iPhone 7. It was a small white earbud called AirPods. AirPods changed everything. They weren't revolutionary technology. They were wireless earbuds that already existed. But Apple did something brilliant and slightly ruthless. They created a problem and sold the solution. By removing the jack, they forced millions of people into the wireless market. AirPods cost $159. That's a lot of money for something people never needed before. And here's where it gets clever. AirPods weren't the real profit machine. They were the gateway drug. Once you bought wireless earbuds, you were locked into an ecosystem. They paired faster with iPhones. They had exclusive features. Switching to another brand meant losing convenience. Apple didn't just sell a product. They created dependency. The profit margins were massive, often 40 to 60% higher than selling phones alone. This wasn't about innovation. It was about discovering a new gold mine. At first, competitors mocked Apple. Samsung aired commercials making fun of iPhone users struggling with wireless earbuds. Google's Pixel phone ads proudly displayed the headphone jack like it was a trophy. They called it courage, but meant it as criticism. Then something happened. Apple started making billions from wireless audio. Google stopped advertising the jack. Samsung removed it from their phones. Everyone launched their own earbuds. Galaxy Buds, Pixel Buds, OnePlus Buds. Within 3 years, the entire industry had flipped. The companies that mocked Apple quietly deleted their ads. They removed the jack from their own devices. Why? Because they realized the real money wasn't in selling phones. It was in selling the accessories nobody knew they needed. There's one reason tech companies won't admit: control. The headphone jack was an open standard. Nobody owned it. You could buy $5 earbuds from anywhere, and they worked perfectly with any phone. That's the problem for tech companies. They don't like open standards. They like walled gardens. Ecosystems where everything connects to their ecosystem only. When you remove the universal plug, you force users into that garden. Buy an iPhone? You're incentivized to buy AirPods because they work better. The pairing is faster. Exclusive features are locked inside. Switching to Android means losing those features. Your expensive earbuds become less useful. Tech companies didn't just kill a port. They killed universal compatibility. They trapped you inside their brand. We traded a 100-year-old piece of technology for something that needs charging. Battery-free universal compatibility became proprietary wireless devices. A $10 pair of headphones became a $150 to $250 investment that dies after a few years. In developing countries, this is devastating. Charging infrastructure is limited. Wired headphones work everywhere. Now people are forced into expensive wireless ecosystems that don't make sense for their situation. We also lost the ability to choose freely. Before, the choice was simple. Buy whatever headphones you wanted. Now you're choosing between ecosystems, not just audio quality. The freedom of the open standard is gone, and we didn't even notice it disappearing. Billions of earbuds end up in landfills every year. They contain lithium batteries and rare materials. Wired headphones lasted longer and created less waste. The environmental cost of this shift? It's measured in thousands of tons of electronic waste annually, and nobody talks about it. But here's what's coming next, and it's going to repeat the exact same pattern. USB-C audio is disappearing. The real reason? It's already happening.